We are live from Tampa Bay, where the Tampa Bay Lightning have successfully defended their Stanley Cup Championship, and they are back-to-back champions. Major League Baseball heads into the All-Star break with a few rays. The Olympic Games are right around the corner. As always, we will have You Can't Fix Stupid. Now, the Chief, he's on location. He almost had the number one BS by calling PTO at the last minute. So you got the Chief, TSG, Pooh Bear, I am Beloved. It is Sunday. This is Tampa Bay, and this is the main event.
Let's go, Lightning!
I was waiting for something.
What was that, Chief?
I was starting to look. I started making me look a little bald, and I realized I didn't have a hat on. And I was like, "Oh, maybe I should get a hat like everyone else." But now I got this terrible shadow. So.
Oh, I thought there was some noise being played.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought I heard some noise in the background.
Well, I heard that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I got
back to back.
Back to back. Hey, listen, by the way, y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome that I kicked that off on Wednesday night.
Ah, yes. Yes, you did.
That?
Good effort. You know what he did.
Wait,
we don't have to disclose it here.
Little video he
sent
sent.
the arm to get going.
Let's just say that I'm responsible for kicking the Lightning into high gear on Wednesday night, and it resulted in the one and only goal.
That's all
the only goal that
That's
mattered.
all I needed.
It was a tradition.
Yeah.
It was a tradition.
Definitely tradition. I'd say it was, the interesting thing is, like, from a series perspective, I don't know. Was anybody else think like it wasn't as exciting as like the previous series that led up? It was like when we finally got to the Stanley Cup Finals, we didn't have a worthy opponent.
Mm.
Well, I mean, Tampa Bay wins 1-0. I mean, they win 1-0 to prove that to basically prove that they can win playing any style that the other team chooses to play. And of course, the only flashy thing about it was our guy Ross Colton, our NASCAR speedster on the ice, scored the only goal in a really tight game where defensive structure rarely broke down from either team. And but I do agree with you, and I think that the harder matchup was against the New York Islanders, and they're only going to get better, so they're going to give some future problems to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, for certain. I think from an X's and O's standpoint, the Canadians just played a much better penalty kill. And so when the Lightning – and they didn't get into penalty kill situations. And when the Lightning had the power play, they could not execute. And I think that was the main difference. That's the way they play the game. Their bread and butter is scoring on the penalty kill or on the power play. And they just couldn't get it done against the Canadians. So kudos to the Canadians for being able to shut that down. Talent won out, though, in the end.
And in regard to that, I just a little add on that. I will say that when Killorn went out with that foot injury, when he got hit with a puck, Killorn is on that first power play team, and that's when they went dry. He is a creator on that front team, on that first team there. And the second team didn't score all playoffs, so I didn't expect anything really more from them anyway. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they'd certainly been pretty deadly on the penalty, the Lightning. And Pooh Bear, you'd even said in one of our earlier shows that one of the strategies that the Habs would have would be to keep the Lightning out of the power play. I think eventually, as the series went on, they were less and less worried about that because they were killing the penalty. Because if you looked at games specifically 4 and 5, there were a number of penalty opportunities, power play opportunities that the Lightning had, and they didn't really convert on any of them.
Yeah, no, I think they played a smarter. Yeah, the Habs played a smarter game of not getting into situations where they were going to have a penalty called on them. And I think the refs let a lot of stuff play out too. This is the final, And this is it. I mean, like, you got here for a reason, so they're going to let the players play, which is, I appreciate that, because that's what we want to see. We don't want to see a bunch of penalties and people in the box that didn't need to be there for silly things.
Yeah.
So
it was also, I thought that third and fourth line for the Lightning played absolutely spectacular this entire series. I think Kucherov might have only had one goal in the Stanley Cup play in the finals.
The Stars weren't there.
Stamkos only had one as well. And those were the guys that you would have expected to light the lamp for us. But that third and fourth, Tyler Johnson had an incredible Stanley Cup.
Yes,
and
I
would almost argue, like, if Vasi wasn't absolutely the ridiculousness that he is, Tyler Johnson would have been in the argument probably with McDonough, in my opinion, as the playoffs MVP.
Yeah, for sure.
At least in the finals.
Yes, you're welcome.
But yeah, with no point. Hey, Chief, can you mute your mic or close the door or something? There's something going on outside.
There's nothing here, my man. I'm not sure what's going on.
I muted you to see if it was you, and it definitely was coming from there. But either way, Point had scored, I think 9 games up until that point into the finals. Stamkos was nowhere to be found in the finals. Kucherov really didn't have a finals like he normally would have. And then with Killorn leaving with the broken fibula, dude broke his fibula and was still trying to skate. It did skate.
Yeah,
is that what that was? They never disclosed what the injury was.
They did on Thursday or maybe Friday. Yeah,
after they had already won.
Oh yeah. Hockey's how weird. They never tell you what it is, but
never.
They did,
which is smart. Because those guys, they play for keeps.
It's not really fair to say that Stamkos and Killorn and these other guys didn't have the series that we expected them to, because the Canadians had to account for them, and they adjust their lines, they account for them, and that's what allows possibly our third and fourth lines to step up. And it's a team game. Everyone's got to perform.
That's fair.
For sure.
If you're going to say we're going to take Stamkos out of the game, fine, take Stamkos out, but you can't take everyone out. And it's when your turn to step up. That's what happened. These guys saw their opportunities and they took them.
Oh yeah, I wasn't faulting the Lightning players. I was actually crediting the Habs for being able to do that, to be able to shut them down. Yeah, I wasn't saying that the Lightning players didn't show up. It was more of a they were shut down, skill for skill.
Yeah, it's kind of like double teaming somebody in basketball, double teaming in football. And they send more guys over. I mean, you can only beat so many guys. And great, okay, fine. But guess what? We got depth, and we got Tyler Johnson, and we got these other guys that can certainly score. When we asked Hedman to score, he scored twice in that one game. He can do it. He'll normally the defensemen are kind of playing back. They stay in their structure, and when they need a little offense, though, from somewhere, they'll have him push. You'll see him crash the boards when they come down on offense. Next thing you know, he's scoring, shooting from the center, and creates rebounds. But yeah, these guys are they got so much depth.
So much. But after the victory, we saw probably the number 2 story, at least in town for us, was the press conferences for the players. You have a drunken, shirtless Kucherov out there. And it was either the best press conference ever or the absolute worst conference ever, depending on Keith Olbermann thought it was awful. He thought it was a travesty and an indictment on the Tampa Bay area. Just a fool, but right? I thought it was actually pretty funny. I can see why people are upset about it. I don't like a lot of.
Did dude roll up? I was gonna say, did he roll up to that press conference with like a Bud Light or something?
Yes, and he was signed by Bud Light. Bud Light signed him on Friday.
Oh yeah,
like, you're a new spokesman.
They tried to bring him champagne in when he was drinking a Bud Light, and he said, No. This is also number 1 BS.
This is number 1 BS.
Number 1 BS. Bring me what I'm drinking, brother.
Oh man. But, we saw it with Tom Brady back in February that after a number of months of not consuming alcohol, which I'm sure these guys do. Maybe Kucherov, he's Russian, so he's probably drinking vodka every night. Who knows? But they seem to cut loose a little bit, and he got into it a little too fast. Probably was a little dehydrated as well, so it kind of got to him a little faster.
Well, and then he let his feelings all out with regard to Vasilevsky not getting the Norris Trophy or the Vezina. The Vezina Trophy. He did not like that, and rightfully so. He's taking the last 2 cups. the last 2 cups. And how many shutouts did he have?
That guy out in Vegas, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. You're right. He didn't even know the guy's name.
He knows his name. I think he knows his name, but I think he just, and I think that's where people are coming from the disrespectful standpoint. That's a little disrespectful not to recognize Marc-Andre Fleury. He is a fantastic goalie. He is, yes, Vasilevsky is the number 1 goalie in the world. Yeah, Fleury's probably number 2. So I mean, it's like he's in the argument, but it's like, come on.
I think these guys are kind of like tired of it, like we are, and that is the snubs. There were, I don't remember, maybe 4 to 10. I can't remember how many it was. GMs that didn't even have Vasilevsky in their top 3.
There was 4.
Yes,
there was 4.
4, right? 4. And that is
that's a travesty.
That's insulting. So that's insulting. So I think Kucherov said, you know what? We got some insults too.
So let me ask you this. This just popped in my head. Do you think that those were intentional? Because there are those around the league who feel like the Lightning took advantage of the salary cap situation.
I think it's in most definitely personal. They did it for the salary cap reasons.
I think it's that, and I also think because Tampa's no stranger to being snubbed. Because we're not one of the traditional teams. The Detroit Red Wings, the the Pittsburgh Penguins. What I'm getting
original at. 6. Just
there. And it just they have a hard time with not only 1 but now 2 good Florida hockey teams down in the sun enjoying this beautiful beaches, and we get hockey, and we're good at it.
I think the interesting thing about that is in terms of hockey. Why wouldn't you want to play in Florida?
Right.
It's the same reason Tom Brady, he's like, I'm never moving back up north. Like, once you get here, I mean, it's a destination people want to be in, and we have amazing ownership. I think it starts with that. And we got this great weather, and these guys are used to living in the frozen tundra of wherever they came from. Like, why wouldn't you want to be in Tampa with your family?
Exactly right.
Well, don't forget, I mean, these guys, half our team is either from Russia or from Canada, and it is a long way from both of those places. So, you can bring your wife and kids. It's hard to bring, your aunts, uncles, grandparents, and everybody else, So, I mean, it is, it's a destination for a lot of people, but it's away from home for these guys.
Hey, if I was going to be doing recruiting for other players for our professional teams, I'm showing them videos of our boat parades. These guys, I mean, the kind of living they're doing down here. Of course, you add the no state tax and everything else. Man, I'm playing these videos for these guys. And they're like, man, I could be like Tom. I could be like Cooch down there getting drunk with my shirt off, drinking a Bud Light in an interview.
And it makes you wonder, do we get some of these guys on the discount? Because, hey, I'm willing to give up $500,000 a year to be in Florida.
Well, we're going to need somebody on the discount for next year because
yes, we are.
Yeah, we're 19 million over the. Some people say 19 million. Some people have said 21 million. Let's put it this way: we're a lot over the salary cap.
The collector's coming.
We're exactly one Kucherov over the cap.
Yeah. So the question is, so who doesn't make it next year? I have my own idea, which is I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be very popular. But I'm wondering, what do you guys think happens?
They're going to sell Johnson while he's high. Johnson's going to go while he's high.
He doesn't get him under the cap. He doesn't get him there. That's not enough.
No. Well, there's a lot of things to think about this coming up off season. You've got the Seattle Kraken who are coming into the league. There's going to be an unprotected player from each team drafted. You are going to have a free agency period. A lot of these guys that have been on this team for a year or two have made a name for themselves and are going to look for big salaries elsewhere. Not to mention the Julian Breezeball had to do some magic just to get these guys in here under the cap. So there's no telling who's going to be. I don't know exactly who the free agents are.
So the nameable free agents are Goodrow, Coleman, and Savard.
Okay, Coleman I think is an important piece. He is a scrappy role player. Plus, he's one of the few Americans. He's from Texas, I believe. So it's important to keep him.
Hey, let me throw
you're just talking about it.
Let me throw a name out there. I don't think it's on a lot of people's radar. Okay, and it's because he has been injury prone essentially his entire career.
Oh, there you go. Say.
I'm going to say Stamkos.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of clauses in his contract that make it almost impossible to move the guy. But
Right.
here's the thing. We're paying him a fortune, and he's rarely on the ice. I hate to say it. When he's on the ice, he's fantastic, but he's rarely there. So
I agree. You get no argument from me on that one.
okay.
So, Chief, what you're suggesting is let's take a look at moving Stamkos to get some young talent into the team to build for the future. Right.
Yeah, we haven't lost much. In all honesty, if he's only skating for half the season, we've only lost a part-time player. That's not going to make or break your team. The reality is.
I think what you're going to see is some forwards. All right, so one, we're already going to lose some people from the expansion draft. So that might solve some of our issues right there, whether we like it or not, right?
Well, I think unless they protect Tyler Johnson, he's most likely to go to the Kraken. And in preparing for the show, one of the things that put that on the top of my list is he's from Seattle.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people have got him going there just to help boost fandom. You get a local guy on your team, you put him on the second line, he's your number 2 center. They probably have a draft pick or somebody lined up for that, for number 1 line. But that kind of boosts the city, and instantly you're becoming a fan of Tyler Johnson. He's a 2-time Cup winner. He's a local boy. He's on your team. He's wearing your colors. That kind of helps boost the fanship of the instant brand new team.
And mind you, he's been in 3 Cup championship competitions.
Yes.
They lost that in 2015.
Right.
And Tampa already has a Tyler Johnson. We don't need to. It just gets confusing. That's the reality. It just gets confusing,
Yeah. So I think the expansion draft's going to take care of it. We have a lot of forwards. We are thick. We have a bountiful stock of forwards. You're probably not going to see us losing any any guys on defense, except for what the expansion draft might take, which might be Savard. Of course, we're going to protect.
I think he's a free agent.
The problem is that who do you protect now? Because I believe you can only protect two defensemen, 2 forwards, 2. So
you have to,
are you going to let?
You have to unprotect. You have to leave unprotected a number of players.
Yeah. So
right.
As I was reading up coming into this, I believe they're allowed to protect 8 players, guys, and one of them is a goalie. So obviously they protect Vasilevsky.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you who the backup goalie is. I don't think he got any minutes.
McElhaney. He didn't play a single. I believe that's a record. That's 2 cups in a row where Vasilevsky played every minute. And
that might have been a brilliant move on their part, knowing that the expansion draft was coming. Don't waste money and time on a backup goalie. We know Vazzy can do by himself.
Yeah.
We know the expansion draft is coming. Remember, we lost our big guy.
Knights.
Bishop?
Yeah.
What?
Bishop. Thank you.
Yeah.
We lost Bishop to the Golden Knights. Of course, he's been the same old Bishop. He's hurt every year. He's not available in the playoffs. And, same old. The guy's he's big. He was great, but he can't stay on the ice. But who do you got to keep Vasilevsky. You got to keep Kucherov. You got to keep Braden Point. You got to keep McDonough, Hedman
for sure.
For sure, and Sergachev.
Sergachev for sure. So and again, there's a lot of I don't know the contracts of all these guys, so a lot of that's going to depend on that. It's going to depend on how much the salary cap has increased. Remember, it was decreased before this year because there was no income. So with some teams having income going into next year, maybe there's an increase in the salary cap. Not sure.
So there's a lot of unknowns. I think with the expansion draft too, every team's going to get pickpocketed, and they're going to get pickpocketed a marquee player, right? If you can only protect 8, you're going to have a guy on your first or second line who is going to, go to the Kraken. So that kind of makes the playing field a little bit. So like the talent level across the NHL, maybe on all teams goes down a little bit. I mean, if you guys remember, Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup the year of their expansion year.
They win or they went to it?
They went.
They won. Oh, they didn't. They went. Okay.
I think they lost the Sharks. But they went or to the
But still, I mean, that's an expansion team who, in their first season, went to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's no joke. You know, they got loaded up with some pretty good players. I think the other thing to keep in mind for this team is they're although they have some older players like Stamkos and Kucherov is getting older, and some of these other guys, they got a lot of young talent. Let's not forget that the guy who scored the only goal in Game 5 is 24.
It's your favorite NASCAR player,
Ross Colton. You know, and they got a number of other guys that are on that roster that just won the Stanley Cup that are even younger than him. So 23, 24, 25 years old. They've got a good base of talent that should come up over the next couple of years.
Well, and not to mention that Syracuse is the equivalent of Durham. I mean, this is just a laden talent pipeline for the Lightning. I'm not too worried about. I mean, they may not win the cup next year, but I'm not too worried about how they perform. As long as you have Vasilevsky and a excellent coaching by John Cooper, not too worried about that.
Yeah.
But listen, we haven't even had the boat parade yet. Let's not go Debbie Downer on 22, man.
Listen, the official boat of the man event isn't even available tomorrow.
It is not.
So we're not going to the boat parade.
We got the mini boat.
I'm in Alabama. I'm at, it's this lake in Alabama that we vacation at every year. It's a fantastic time. I got to tell you the story about this lake house. So we don't own a lake house. We rent one. Okay. And so the one that we normally go to wasn't available. So we, sign up for this new one here, and it's okay. But the first thing you do is you got to go run around the place and check it out. Right. You're going to love this. Okay. So we're checking it out. We go to the master bedroom, and they don't have just an in-the-wall entertainment center, like old school with the speakers. You can call somebody. No, they don't have just an in-the-wall entertainment center. What they have is they have disassembled an old boombox, and I mean a boombox from the '80s. Because what does this thing have? Not one,
cassette tapes,
2 cassette tape players.
Yes.
The kids don't know how to use it. They don't even know how to use this thing. I take a minute and I'm explaining to them how you can make this is how you make your own mixtape with the double reel, right?
Yes.
Double players.
Play, record, and do them at the same time.
Dude, I'm having a blast with this thing, right? I call my brother-in-law. I say, hey, come check this thing out. By the way, the speakers, they have taken the speakers off and they've mounted them in the wall, like they were like it's a real system, like it's a real, anyway, so he comes in and he's like, oh my gosh, and he looks at the kids and he goes, do you guys know that you can make your own mixtapes with this? He goes through the whole, and they're like, we know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. So, dude, I hadn't even thought to open it up. We pop it open, guess what?
There's tape inside.
There's a tape in there, man. I said, nice. Good night. I said, let's play it. We gotta see. I hope it works.
Please tell me it's Van Halen.
It's not, dude. But that's what I was looking for. Van Halen, maybe some Motley Crue, or even Poison. I would have gone even, so Poison was popular back. So anyway, dude, but the first thing I had to do was I had to type the tape because I was looking at it. I said that baby's loose. Let me see.
Give me a pencil. I need a pencil.
I'll show you guys how it's done. Then we pop it in there, hit the play button, hit up what's going to work. Sure enough, there it is, man. We're bathed in music. Polka. It's full on polka.
Oh my goodness.
Possibly the only working dual cassette tape left in the country, and it's playing polka music.
Oh, man.
That is amazing. I love it.
Dude, I find it just before I come up here to get set up for this. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you guys.
All right. So while the Chief brings that up about making your own mixtape, how many of you believe that given today's technology that the Chief could burn his own mixed CD?
Ooh.
Oh, I was a champion. Oh, a mixed CD?
Yeah, that involves the computer. That involves a library with files.
You mean I don't have a CD burner anymore on any of my computers?
I'm gonna bet the under on that one.
Yeah, come on, Grandpa B-Love. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, do you know how to make a playlist?
On my I've got a playlist that I use for boot camp and running music and stuff like that.
He puts it on a Zoom every month. New music on the Zune. Nobody remembers the Zune?
The Zune?
No.
The Zune. D-U-N-E.
No.
The defunct
kazoo?
No, it was the Microsoft competitor to the iPad or the iPod.
Oh wow. No.
Oh wow. Wow,
was
I didn't
terrible.
even know I didn't even know Microsoft had a competitor to the iPad.
It was terrible. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, well, I mean, now today your cell phone is your iPod,
Right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, but I remember having one. You know, I had the old school one that you could strap onto your shoulder for when you were going on a run or when you were working out or whatever.
It would hold like 30 songs. That's all it would hold.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is longer than I could run, so I'm okay.
Hey, dude, for a long time I ran with the fanny pack and the Walkman, cassette player in there. And,
Wow.
it would only play, how long did one side of a tape last? Like 22 minutes, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it takes me way longer than that to run 3 miles. So, like in the middle of it, I'm wheezing and huffing and puffing, trying to flip it out, pull this thing out of the. Yeah.
Kids today will never know.
They'll never get it. No, they'll never get it.
So my son is at the fire station a couple of months ago, and he's seen the trucks a million times, right? So I don't get too many questions about it. And he had started driving, so he's now kind of sitting in the driver's seat checking things out, and he's looked at the door and he goes, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he doesn't know." We have our fire engines, these things cost, $250,000, $300,000, and we still got crank roll-up handles in that thing. I mean, the power window has been perfected, since like the 70s, but no, we still got cranks on these things, man. You got to crank them up, crank them down.
Yep. Hey, we're fiscally responsible, people.
That's right.
Yeah, all right, fiscally responsible with the tax dollars.
We don't.
What do you got, B? What do you got next?
Listen, I appreciate that, but we won't talk fiscal responsibility in the same sentence. All right. I'm just saying, you guys work less than anybody I know. So
you got to be responsible with what you got then.
All right. So listen, Major League Baseball comes to the halfway point today. Actually, today was the last set of games. The All-Star game and Home Run Derby and all that stuff is on slate this week. Before we get into that, we've been talking a little bit about the Rays over the last couple of weeks after having that blazing May. June was, I don't even know if we had a winning record in the month of June or not, but we're starting to see a little bit more consistency. We had a nice doubleheader this week, the same night that we won the Stanley Cup. And, we even had a no-hitter. And now the chief says that's not an official no-hitter, though.
It's not an official no-hitter. It was a 7-inning game. You took out 6 outs from the guys. It's not you got to bring in, another pitcher in. Probably 2 more pitchers at that rate. Who knows what's going to happen? It's not a no-hitter. They didn't get a hit for 7 innings. That's the best I can say. And by the way, Major League Baseball agrees with me.
Which ironically,
yeah,
I still say it should count as a no-hitter because that was the scheduled game. It's like playing your schedule. You can't put, that's what you were given. You did your best you could with what you got. You succeeded. But I'm on board with it is not really no-hitter. It's actually the second time it's happened this year. And also,
I believe it was 4 or 5 pitchers that combined for that no-hitter.
Yeah. And also today, the Rays would have been no hit or officially no hit because they didn't have a hit until the 7th inning. So it would have been a no hitter. They lost 1-0 today, or no, 3-0 today, 3-1. Yeah. Brandon Lau finally woke up.
I was gonna say Brandon Lau found the seats again for the 3rd time in 2 days.
3 times in 2 days. But
I don't know. Maybe there's something to him hitting leadoff. Yeah,
they finally had a good week after disappointing last week. Ending June out. So July started off nice. Going to the All-Star break. Hopefully they can continue that momentum coming home. They go to Atlanta end of, I guess, this time next weekend, right? A little series in Atlanta. They won't see Acuna. Acuna was injured last night with a ruptured ACL. He's out for the season. Sucks for him. One of the bright stars of baseball. Having a terrific season, even though the Braves aren't doing that well. But so he'll be out. So they'll have a chance to take on the Braves, see if they can start off the second half.
The Rays have brought up a number of players here recently from AAA, a couple pitchers. Obviously, we talked a lot about Franco. Taylor Walls is still getting significant playing time. Excuse me. They brought up that other
Vidal Brujan
prospect. Vidal Brujan. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of expected that Franco would play every day after he came up. He's getting limited playing time right now. What are your thoughts?
Well, he's got limited hits. And so, if he takes a day off and it gives him a chance to think about it, this is the time to do it. You don't want the guy getting out there making the same mistake over and over again. Let's talk about what's happening and give him a chance to correct it, and then put him back out and see if it works.
Right. So so on Wednesday, the day they had the doubleheader with the no hitter in the second half, they get to expand the roster for that game, and that's when they called out Vidal Brujan. So Franco didn't play in the first game. He did play in the second game. Then they had the day off on Thursday. He played on Friday, took the golden sombrero 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And everyone that's talked about this kid, they don't think this has ever happened to him.
Well,
it's never happened.
The big talk about him coming up is he doesn't strike out.
Right. So him not having that sensation of striking out 4 times in one game, he probably hasn't struck out 4 times in a week, is what they're kind of saying about him. So he needs to learn how to deal with that. And that's why Cash shot him on Saturday. He did play today. I don't know what he hit today. I was busy. I was
0 for 3. He was 0 for 3 today.
Doing other stuff. Okay, so over 3. I don't think he struck out as many times. But anyway, so it's a process. You don't want to hurt the kid's confidence. He's definitely confident. And I was listening to the pregame show. They were talking to Kevin Cash, and they were asking specifically about him and his attitude. And he said he was taking. I mean, I don't know what else you expect the guy to say, but he gave the textbook answer of he's taking it like a champ. He's working through it. He's working with the hitting coach. Figure out things that he's missing, looking for ways to recognize certain pitches and things like that. Nothing groundbreaking, but yeah.
I know what he's missing. He's missing the ball. That's what he's missing.
Oh my God.
When you strike out, you are
new hitting coach right here. I'm ready. I'll do it for half his price. Whatever he's making, I'll do it for half price.
Well, half of that is probably less than you currently make right now.
Right.
Oh well, then never mind.
For a Major League Baseball pitching coach, it's probably half is probably less than you make right now. All right, so yeah, well, we can look that up.
But his fielding, what about his fielding?
He seems to be very slick. I don't think he's been committed any errors.
2.
Matter of fact,
he's 2.
He has.
He did commit. Yeah, he committed an error his first game. Yeah, he had a throwing error.
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember that. I also remember. Well, it was Brujan that saved a double. His first game. So it's kind of running together a little bit on me, but I don't. It doesn't seem to be a glaring. I know he's played some third base. That's been nice to see. So you had Brujan. You had Franco, Walls, and then Brujan, which is very similar to the Bulls infield.
Yeah,
like to see that.
Add Yandy Diaz to it at first base, and
I'd rather see Choi over there.
I would too. I think Choi has been a difference maker when he's been healthy this season.
Yep.
So Zunino makes the All-Star game just like we kind of all expected. I think yesterday he hit home run number 20 on the season. I don't know that we've had that kind of power from the catching position ever. In fact, I would say the last All-Star we had at catcher was Deanna Navarro.
I was going to say Navarro may have had that kind of power.
He hit for average that year, I think. I don't remember him hitting particularly for power, but he hit for average that year that he was an All-Star. And then this week, Wendle gets added to the All-Star team as a replacement. That's probably the luck of having your head coach as the head coach of the American League All-Star team for going to the World Series last season. So All-Star game is this week. Will you guys watch it?
Absolutely. I love it.
I would watch it if I were home. I got a lot going on. No, wait, when is it?
It's Tuesday
I do have a lot going on. Yeah.
Wednesday night. Tuesday night's the home run derby.
Yeah, it's Wednesday night. Yep.
You know what? I'm back in Tampa for Wednesday night.
Is it Wednesday? Yeah. Thursday.
I'm pretty sure it's because they got a day off tomorrow, which would tell me that the home run derby's Tuesday. And Wednesday would be the All-Star game.
The futures game and the draft.
Right here.
The futures game and the draft are tonight. There's a day off tomorrow, then the home run derby, and then the All-Star game. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So Pooh Bear, you watch the All-Star game because you think it's relevant, or just because you enjoy seeing all the stars all in one? Like, what's your draw?
I love watching all the stars because they usually have 5 or 6 guys mic'd up. You get to hear the chat going on. I love that stuff. I love the inside, because we always forget these guys are just human. They're just people. They just happen to have jobs that are a little different. That's all. So you get to hear them.
It would be like if you mic'd us up.
Well, you get that every Sunday at 7 right here.
Hey, the All-Star game's very relevant. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the All-Star game because it decides who has home field advantage in the World Series.
Yeah,
right.
So
it's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Unless it's 2020, and then it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter in 2020, but
everybody plays it down.
One of the things I'm looking forward to is seeing how they use Ohtani, because they've already come out and said that he is going to both pitch and hit.
That's going to be a show. See, to me, that's worth watching the game right there, just to see what happens with that. I mean,
This dude is insane. He's
arguably the best player in baseball right now, and I say arguably because to me, the best player in the league is on his team, and he's just hurt right now. Mike Trout is just incredible. But with Ohtani pitching and hitting the way he has, I mean, he hit one out of the Coors Field the other day that probably still has.
He hit one into the third deck at Coors Field. That was like massive.
Incredible. That is incredible.
Did you see the picture? Somebody took a picture from where that ball landed that goes towards home plate.
Oh my gosh!
It might as well be in a different zip code, man.
I did not see that. I would love to see that.
It was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Probably similar to the seats that we had for the World Series.
Probably very similar. So I'll definitely watch it. I'm going to watch the Derby. I love watching the Derby. It's always a good time,
Well, Ohtani's going to be in the Derby, this year too. And, to me, I like the Derby. That's always been fun. We haven't seen a Derby performance like you guys remember Josh Hamilton's Derby performance.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that was one of the coolest moments in baseball. I know it was a home run derby, but that was like when the guy was making his breakout back in the league after battling the cocaine, and who else knows what he was putting in his body. Yep. But and that guy comes out and just put on a show. And I'm hoping that Ohtani comes out and does the same.
I mean, I hope so too. I don't know if he's got the swing for it. That's always a big thing for derbies is the type of swing you have and how much motion you put into it, how tired the player gets. There's a lot of involved with that. For me, I think Trey Mancini's got one of the best, most compact home run swings out there. He's kind of in his feel good story, having cancer a couple of years ago. Yeah. So he's kind of my pick to win. I want to see him win, but I think he's got the swing to do it. We'll see. But
it's interesting because nowadays nowadays a lot of these players opt out of the home run derby because they're afraid to alter their swing.
Right.
Like your swing is very much a muscle memory type thing. So when you go out there trying to hit a home run on every swing, you could mess up your batting average for the entire year.
And we've seen it. Players have won and then gone on to have disappointing second halves.
But I just think I haven't been as excited about a home run derby. Obviously, I just shared with you Josh Hamilton, but before that, when Junior Griffey was in the home run derby with the hat on backwards, that was pretty awesome for me too. So yeah. So let's talk about this a little bit. All-Star break. Let's talk a little bit about that. We're at the halfway point in the season. Who's your midseason MVP? Who's your midseason Cy Young, and who do you see in the World Series?
Ohtani.
Oh, my gosh.
Those are the only right answers for everything.
Well, I mean, he's not going to win the Cy Young.
No, well, still got a second half to go. No, he's actually not pitching. His stats aren't Cy Young even argument right now.
No.
Not for pitching. But, yeah, absolutely MVP. I think he deserves it. Vlad Guerrero was giving him a bit of a run there for the first half, but you just can't, you see what he does night in, night out, and he pitches every fifth or sixth day.
Yeah.
The only thing you got is the fact the Angels are terrible. That's the only argument you have against him is he's not helping the team.
Listen, Vlad Guerrero, he's certainly a fun player to watch too, right? And there's a good story there. I think where Ohtani gets the edge in the MVP voting is that he's also pitching. If Ohtani was just playing right field every day, I think those two guys would, at least in the American League.
Yeah.
But I think with Ohtani also pitching, that's going to just take him over the top. As long as he doesn't put up like a 6-run ERA.
Right.
If he keeps it below 3 or whatever, I think he's probably the MVP.
So Ohtani in the American League and Tatis in the National League for certain. I mean, the guy's electric. He is just, again, both. It's a shame both these guys play on the West Coast because a lot of people on the East Coast don't get to see him. Their team, they're not playing the Yankees. They're not playing the Red Sox every night. So it's hard for them to get on TV. It's hard for people on the East Coast to stay up and watch. You've got to be a true fan to be able to appreciate what's happening out there. And I don't see any reason why those two guys shouldn't win there for their respective leagues.
So what about Cy Young? There's a lot of people who think DeGrom not only wins the Cy Young, but is the National League MVP. I know you just said Tatis.
Yeah, I could listen to that argument.
I don't like that argument, actually. I don't. How are you going to vote a league MVP for a guy who only plays every 5 or 6 days?
Well, the MVP is the most valuable player, right? So who else is valuable on the Mets right now? What's his name? The shortstop they got from Cleveland. Francisco Lindor has been a disappointment up until last month or so. He's turned it on. The heck is that? Pete Alonso
party at the Chiefs now.
I guess. Pete Alonso hasn't been spectacular like he was in 19 and 18, 19 and even 20. But he's starting to come along. So, really it's just DeGrom on the Mets right now. So I can see why people would argue he is an MVP. I still think it should go to Tatis, but I could hear why people would think that. He's been fantastic, even through all the sticky stuff business. He hasn't changed a bit. Not like, Garrett Cole, who actually had a fantastic game yesterday. But, Garrett Cole has fallen off the wagon without the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
But yet, DeGrom, no change.
1.08 ERA.
Yep. And
that's very low. That's very low. Listen,
his
if you
average
can go
pitch
out...
speed, his average pitch speed is like 96 miles an hour. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So who do you have right now, halfway the season? Who's in the World Series? Who's your World Series matchup?
Here's my problem with the World Series. Okay, so I'm gonna go Dodgers, and then the opponent is where I run into the problem. Okay, because you got to think. I personally think you got to look at Houston, who are cheaters, and always will be, as far in my book.
Well, thank God you don't feel that way about Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady did. Wow. Wow.
I mean, he did get suspended. He did get suspended for 4 games once.
Yes.
Take it back right now. Take it back. You don't say that about the GOAT. Take it back.
Yeah. I'm offended.
All right. Knocking on wood. Knocking on wood.
All right.
So not the Trash Stros. Who else you got?
I can't go Houston. I can't go Houston. And then, next in line is going to be the Red Sox. And I absolutely refuse to go Red Sox. So then that puts us, at Tampa Bay. And I hate to say it, man, but I don't think Tampa Bay right now has got the guns to do it. We don't have the pitching, we don't have the hitting. We just saw how vulnerable they were all of June. So I can't really pick it up on. I'm not going to pick it up on it. Put it that way.
But I will say, I don't have Tampa in the World Series either. But I think they're going to make a strong run. I think they make the playoffs. There's a lot that can go really well for this team in the back half of the season. But you're right. Yep. They're in some sticky situations right now.
Yeah.
They need to make a trade.
Yeah, so I have Houston as well representing the American League. I hate to say it.
Houston's playing really well.
I hate to say it as well. But I actually have San Francisco from the National League.
Okay.
I like San Francisco too.
They're going to get Evan Longoria back here probably right after the All-Star break. He's having one of the best seasons of his career, which is cool to see because we kind of thought he was a has-been, washed up, done, right? So yeah, I got San Francisco. The crazy thing is that division that San Francisco is in, you got San Francisco, San Diego, and LA in the same division. And to Pooh
Right.
Bear's point, like that's a tough division in baseball.
I picked the Padres. That was my surprising or my bold prediction was the Padres would not make the playoffs given their the hype that they had around them. But their division, I mean, nobody saw San Francisco coming. But with the Dodgers beating up on everybody. But now the Dodgers are in trouble. They just lost Trevor Bauer for who knows how long. No pun intended on the beating up part. So TSG, who you got for the series?
I've got the White Sox and the Dodgers.
Yeah, the White Sox is not a bad pick either. They're really playing well, and they're another team that's had a lot of injuries that may get a lot of those players back. Eloy Jimenez and Tim Anderson and Luis Robert was lost for the season, but they've got one of the best pitchers in the league throwing out there every night, every 5 days. Yeah,
so we should write these down right now.
Mid-season picks.
Yeah,
get out that notebook, Pooh Bear. Go ahead and get out that notebook.
Right.
While Pooh Bear's doing that, I didn't prep you guys for this, but maybe you'll have something off the top of your head. Because my other question is, what's your biggest surprise at the halfway point through the year? Now, Pooh Bear said that his preseason bold prediction was that San Diego would miss the playoffs. That's actually my biggest surprise. I'm disappointed with the roster that team has, that they're in third in their division currently. I thought they'd be in a better place at the halfway point.
Well, I think they're only like 1.5 games back. I mean, they're third place, but it's not like they're forever. They're not saying they're out of sight. Not like the Orioles. So
right. No, I mean they're competitive in the division, but I think you're going to see another team like the Cubs or Cincinnati from one of the other divisions is going to wake up and probably get the wild card. They've got a little bit of easier schedule than the Padres do. And that was the genesis of my prediction it wasn't going to be because necessarily of their terrible play. It was just going to be their competition was so much better than some of the other competition in the other divisions. That was kind of the reason why I said that. I think they're just too young and that their time isn't here yet. The Dodgers are still just too powerful. But again, nobody saw the Giants coming up like they did. We thought they were a few years away.
Yeah.
But let's hear those World Series predictions against Chief. You had who?
Okay, if I have to pick somebody, I got to go Dodgers, and I'll go Houston, and I will put an asterisk next to Houston.
All right,
that's just my asterisk. You don't want to do it.
And
I have to pick someone.
I'm fully with you. I'm a Trastros guy. I don't like them. They kicked the Rays out of the series by cheating, in my opinion. But they are supposedly not cheating now. So, for what it's worth, whatever. All right. So, B-Love, what do you got?
I also have Houston from the American League versus San Francisco.
All right. So, San Fran and Houston. TSG?
I got the Dodgers and the White Sox.
LED and White Sox.
What do you got, Pooh Bear?
It's hard to argue against any of those picks. But just for the sake of being different, I'll go. I'm gonna go with the Mets. I think the Mets could turn it on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Mets. There's just a lot there, and I'll be a homer. I'm gonna go with the Rays. The Rays are gonna make a move. They're gonna get Max Scherzer from the Nationals.
There's a lot of talk about that. There's actually a lot of talk about that.
They're gonna give up some bodies on the farm and probably another arm to get Scherzer to rent for the next 6 months or 3 months and get that done. So I'm going Mets, Tampa Bay.
See what you've got, and that's a good. I like that pick. You know what? And what the owners of the Rays are thinking probably is that we've got a lot of guys here that have experience deep in the playoffs, experience going to the World Series last year. Let's capitalize on that experience because we so often get new players coming through here, new blood, and you lose that experience. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go after and get a good pitcher. And if they did, watch out. And
I'm going to surprise myself. They traditionally don't do a lot of late season moves they're not buyers. Put it that way. They're not buyers the second half of the season. They're usually sellers. So
they are sellers.
It will be a little bit of a shock if they do make a trade, especially for a big name like Scherzer. But that's kind of what they need to do. If you don't get Glasnow back, which they think they're going to get Glasnow back, so I don't know. Hopeful, fingers crossed. Like I said, it's a total homer pick, folks. Call me a homer if you want. That's my pick. I like it.
All right.
I'll tell you what. Add to that, if Pooh Bear is right, I'm going to be so happy the Rays go back again. If you're right, Pooh Bear, 25 push-ups on live on the channel,
and we'll go to New York. We'll go to New York for a game.
Now, mind you, they're going to be
Goose.
They're going to be cheap
Talk to
push-ups.
me, Goose.
They're going to be Bassett push-ups.
Yeah. By the way, yes, which just means they're like this.
Yeah, I put a full clinic on the other day. Full clinic in boot camp. They recorded it, and nothing's been published because they were so good. So,
listen, we're getting closer on at a time here, and we've got to make time for your favorite segment, and it's time for You Can't Fix Stupid. All right, so this week on Can't Fix Stupid, did you guys see the story this week about the airline passenger who got duct taped to their seat?
dude,
Unreal.
Like full on, the duct tape is like wrapped around them in the seat across their chest.
What is going on with people in the air?
Dude, we've already done some You Can't Fix Stupid segments on this.
Yes.
hey, bigger question is why do they have a roll of duct tape on an airplane?
And where is it? Where do they keep it? Because I might
Where do
need
they
it.
keep that?
Yeah.
Dude, I fly twice in the next 7 days, so I'm gonna be on the lookout for some You Can't Fix Stupid stuff. Try to get it on video.
I'll be on the plane. I'll be like a doctor. Scalpel, duct tape.
Yeah.
Stab.
No, Chief, like if you get something, we could go viral.
I'm not going to be the guy doing the stupid stuff. I'm going to be the guy filming the stupid stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like if it's on your TikTok. Oh, do you have
Yeah.
TikTok?
No, I don't have to. Dude, hey, well, I tell you what. Though, here's what the deal. I will wear a main event shirt. I wear the one that's on the on display there behind TSG. Mine's bigger, but I will wear it on the plane just in case something happens. So we can be represented nationally or worldwide. Who knows how big this could go?
Yeah.
So what does this guy do to get taped? To get duct tape? Is it a guy?
It was
or a girl?
it was a lady. It was a lady.
Wow. Okay. What did she do?
She was just getting mouthy and unruly and just disturbing the entire flight.
Chief, they even duct taped her mouth. Like she had duct tape going around her head.
That's fantastic. What airline is this? I got to know.
American Airlines.
It was American, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
I'm guessing that's who you're flying this week.
No. I had a flight on American, but now I'm flying Southwest.
So, there's a major put. Apparently, this was related to a mental health concern, right, with this particular individual. And there's been a big push about, mental health and how to combat it and how to deal with it and what people with mental health issues can and can't do, like purchasing legal firearms. Why aren't we having a conversation about traveling with other people? Why aren't there mental health exams for that?
Yeah, I mean, so
Pooh Bear, you're going into territory where like I'm going to have to show my CDC vaccination card to travel.
Well, listen, there's a legitimate discussion about taking away your Second Amendment right based off of a mental health evaluation, and that's all I'm saying. Flying on an airplane is not a guaranteed by the Bill of Rights or the Constitution or any other law document. It's a privilege to fly on the airlines.
Yeah, but making your own decisions, is, as long as they haven't, shown hostilities or anything else, they should be able to make a decision to fly on a plane if they want to do that. They can afford the ticket.
True, but I'm saying that the discussion is not even happening. Here we have someone who is mentally disturbed, disturbing the entire plane. We have no idea what her intentions were other than disruption. We hope that's all it was.
Was she coherent?
But the pictures I saw of her taped up, she looked coherent.
Oh my gosh. Is this? I bet she's 35.
She
I don't know.
Yeah, she wasn't too terribly old. But if you've had too many drinks, they won't let you on a flight.
There you go. There's a reason for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why aren't we having a discussion about looking into your past when it comes to mental health and whether or not you're capable of maintaining your composure in a silver tube for 5 hours with 300 people. That's all I'm saying.
You're getting crazy.
Next
How
thing
is
you
that
know, we'll all
crazy?
be doing breathalyzers before we get on the plane too.
I was going to say, like, isn't that an illegal search?
No, because it's you're giving up rights to the fly on.
If you're demanding a breathalyzer.
So
Or something
what you're saying is, Pooh, so I understand this a little better, and I know you're just talking about having a discussion and not making any specific rules.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not advocating for more government. Trust me.
Right, and I get what you're saying here, and just to talk about, when you talk about mental disability or PTSD, now you're talking about dealing with military members.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you get into that realm, the problem is that these people that have these disabilities, you often do not see them. So other people with disabilities, it's very obvious when they don't have a leg and they're on crutches or they're in a wheelchair. And these things can be seen, and people have compassion for that because you physically can see these problems. But these disabilities that are affecting our personalities or the brain, you can't see them. So often their outlandish behavior or a little bit out of the ordinary behavior is looked upon in a negative way and not looked at as we would look at someone else with a disability.
Right.
And hence the big push, for a lot of the support that they're trying to get out there. And we've seen it happen in other government agencies as well. But I get what you're saying, because you're talking about a very, we're in an area enclosed. There's not a whole lot of law enforcement there. I think there's one sheriff in town there on the plane that kind of tries to take care of things. And you could get, what happens if you get somebody that's powerful, what if you get a Pooh Bear that goes wacko?
That's right.
You
ain't taking me down.
Dude, let's duct
Just
tape
punch
Pooh
Pooh
Bear
Bear
to
in the
a chair.
hamstring. Just punch
all
Pooh
you
Bear in
gotta
the
do.
hamstring. Just
Listen.
punch him in the hamstring.
I'm giving Pooh Bear a steak. Oh, here we
Dude,
go. And that's it. A steak. And he's going to be like, oh, okay.
A
Let's see if we
10
tape him
pound.
to a chair, see if he can get out. Let's see if it works.
Oh, let's do it. That'd be a great video.
Dude, this conversation
great
took a
video.
serious turn. Let's go back to talking about, duct tape and grow women to chairs, man.
That's what we are.
Who else can we duct tape to a chair, on a
That's
plane?
fantastic.
Let's
I
do
love
midgets
awesome.
next.
Let's try. You mean
Oh my gosh! All right,
I mean,
so
short
listen,
people.
we're
vertically challenged individuals?
we're running a little bit out of time, so I'm gonna make a decision. So tune in next week. We have some opinions on the upcoming Olympic Games that are just a few weeks away. We're gonna save that for a topic for next week, guys. But kind of finishing things out, we only have a couple of minutes here. We talked about this a little bit in the green room, but Conner McGregor in the I don't think, by the way, I don't know that any of us here are UFC fans. I could maybe TSG.
TSG.
I am.
is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, TSG is a UFC fan, so I think the rest of us think that I don't know. I don't like any sport where I'm going to get punched. So anyway,
I don't want to be in a match, but I do like watching it. I mean, this goes back to the days of Coliseum, the gladiators, man. It's in our blood.
Wow. Okay. Are you not entertained?
Oh, you're not entertained?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So Conor McGregor has a fight about, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, last night. Ends up with a busted ankle, breaks his ankle. But here's my question.
Snaps it.
When was the last time this guy was actually relevant in UFC? I mean, like, he hasn't won a match in, I don't even know, like 4 or 5 years maybe.
Dude, you know what? He's relevant to the UFC? He's relevant to the UFC because without Conor McGregor out there making a spectacle of himself, we're not talking about the UFC. So he's an amazing marketer. That's what he is. He used to be a great fighter. Now he's just, in UFC terms, an average fighter, but he's an amazing marketer with a big mouth and a lot of tattoos.
In promotion terms, he is the Muhammad Ali of the UFC. He's the one that has been the talker. He's the king of trash talk. And of course, he's got an accent that stands out. And he was quite successful. His last big match and actually he still lost it, was the boxing match against Mayweather, which made him over $100 million.
That was actually enjoyable to watch. Like, I'm not into boxing or UFC, but I watched that, and that was actually enjoyable.
So in the beginning rounds, I enjoyed it. And then that's not his sport, so he faded pretty fast, and then it got kind of boring for me. But I did like that something different was happening there. We wanted to see what could a UFC boxer do against another boxer who's the greatest of all time, but he's still in his older age. But you're right, he hasn't. So what do you do after you get over $100 million? Where's your motivation to fight?
You don't let
to
anyone
train?
take your Lucky Charms. I'll tell you that.
To train,
You hide those Lucky Charms.
Well, I don't know. See, I'm going to disagree with that because I think that I'm not saying athletes aren't motivated by money, but primarily what made them money was being motivated by winning.
Yes.
Okay.
But when you talk about getting your face smashed in, you're like, wow, do I really want to get punched in my nose, in my face anymore?
I don't want to get punched for $100 million.
Well, he already got his $100 million. Now he's like,
I'll get punched for $100 million.
Oh, me too. I will.
$50 million. I'll do
but
it.
Once I get it,
I'm doing for maybe one.
I'll be 0-1. I'm out. Take my $100 million and go. Bye.
Right?
I'm
retired. Just like Butch in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading some reports that they're saying he's going to probably fight again against this guy who he's now fought 3 times. I guess they're going to fight a 4th time because I guess it wasn't a great fight because Conner McGregor got hurt and really couldn't finish the fight. But dude, when is this guy just going to fade into oblivion?
I don't want him to. I do want him to take one more shot. So he admitted actually that he didn't train properly when he fought Poirier the 2nd time. And I think actually when he thought he was going to get another shot at Nurmagomedov, the Russian guy, who he got dominated. Of course, that guy's dominated everyone. He's undefeated, never been beat. He's a wrestler. It's a boring fight. I don't like watching the guy fight, but he's very good at what he does. And there was a period of time, but then COVID came in. He was ready to train, and then he couldn't fight because they halted all fights during COVID, and they didn't give him and then Nurmagomedov, I hope I'm saying that right, he retired. He's done. He retired, and he's not even in it anymore. So I think that moment passed, that window where he was really ready to train and focus again, and he admitted it. He apologized to his training staff that, I wasn't giving them what they deserved, and what the sport deserves. Now he may have been ready for Poirier because that 2nd round he was starting to box him, and they were like, okay, he was starting to find his range and really start to make some connections and hitting Poirier until he snapped his ankle right in half. So this may put him out for good. I don't know because he's not getting any younger. So we'll see. Well,
doesn't he have a whiskey business or something he's been promoting?
Yeah, he's got Proper 12. It's called Proper 12. And it was the number one whiskey this year.
Number one sold is it? Number one boom spit.
Yeah. Number one BS. Yeah. I haven't tried it. You guys?
I thought no, it's Irish whiskey. I thought he sold his interest in that. But anyways, hey, with the number 1 pick in the Major League Baseball amateur draft, your Pittsburgh Pirates select Henry Davis, catcher from the University of Louisville.
Didn't take one of the pitchers, huh? There was 2 pitchers at Vanderbilt who were, almost everybody had them 1-2. Wonder where they went. I'll be catching up on the draft here shortly.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we're out of time. And the Chief has a vacation to get to.
It sounds like there's a party behind him.
It's my dedication to this show. I have just spent the last hour here.
Yeah. I think you got bullied into being here, though.
I tried to take PTO and freaking B-Love blocked it. He's like, no PTO. Did you get it approved? And I was like, well, maybe I'll just call it sick then. I don't know.
Well, I don't think any of us even knew you were gone.
Yeah, I don't think we did either.
That's probably the most shocking.
I don't know how you guys missed it, but anyway.
Well, thanks for your dedication and being here. We appreciate it.
That's right. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
That's how I roll.
So, will you be back next week at 7:00?
I'll be doing that show from a regular Studio 454. I'll be there for that one. And the next day, I got a flight back to Alabama. I do have to work a couple of days. So
every now and then he's got to work.
Yeah, I had to work.
So there you have it, folks. We will be back after the slowest week in sports of the year.
Oh, wow. Man,
that's what's coming up.
It's a good thing we saved the Olympics conversation for next week.
Right? We'll probably need it because this is traditionally the slowest week of the year. I think the NBA might have something going on, but who cares about that stuff? But we will be back at 7:00 next week to go over all the happenings in life and sports and pop culture, whatever comes up this week. We'll be right here live at 7:00. Until then, have a great week. Say good night, Chief.
Good night.